Hi, my name is Vivek Angre. I am from the Northern Sydney Institute, part of TAFE, New South Wales. I'm going to demonstrate how to make bread from your 4 basic ingredients that include flour, a bit of salt, yeast, and it can be either fresh yeast or dry yeast. If you are using dry yeast, you need to use 30% of your weight of fresh yeast. Okay, I'm going to make this dough just using my hands, and you can do this at home. It's very simple. I have in front of me 1 kilo of flour, 30 grams of fresh yeast, and 20 grams of salt. What I'm going to do first is make a well in the center of my flour, which is baker's flour. It's a strong flour. It's got a high gluten content. Into that, I add my salt and I add my water so I can dissolve the salt so it doesn't react with the yeast. Because remember, what happens when salt gets in touch with yeast, it does retard it. Okay? So very quickly, mix this through. So I dissolve my salt, add a bit more water, and then I add my yeast. You will notice when you move your hands through the dough, it starts becoming elastic. And this is where you are activating the gluten within the dough. And remember, it's the gluten that is responsible for the nice lift of your crusty bread within the oven. As I move my hands through the dough, I will gauge whether I need a bit more water. And as you can see, that's a bit dry. So all I need to do is take a bit more water to hydrate my dough. This doesn't take more than a minute. So I'm working it through. Just remembering, I have 1 kilo of flour, 30 grams of fresh yeast, 20 grams of salt, and in the end I will use approximately 580 ml of water. Working this dough does take a little bit of exercise, but it's required because you really need to work the gluten. So there's my 580 ml of water in. And now all I have to do is bring my ingredients together and knead it into a dough. You'll notice I do a little bit of a tearing action. I scrape all the ingredients together over here. Put that aside. And there's my dough. I'll carry on kneading this for another 5 minutes. And then what I'll do is I'll ball it up, put it into a bowl, and cover it with a towel, and rest that for 20 minutes.